Hey guys, welcome to Geekborn, and this is the very first episode of my brand new series, Barely Relevant. It's kind of like the game The 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, where you connect an actor to a different actor through movies, where each show and film that I will be covering will be connected by an actor or actress, some being more or barely relevant, and hence the name of the show. The show I want to cover this week, the first week, basically just a show I wanted to cover, and I don't see people talking about it a whole lot. So, in 2004, there was a Disney Channel show about a family from the future, with a little blast from the past of this family from the future. Do you remember who it was?
Meet a boy named Phil and his family on vacation from the 22nd century.
Yeah, that's right. We're talking about Phil and the Diffies with Phil of the Future. It's your average kid from 2121, only about 100 years in the future now. It's like 16 years since the show's been on the air. We're talking about a sister, Pim, who's honestly just the absolute freaking worst human being. I mean, for a little kid. And we get some interactions with his parents, his idiotic dad, which is, the dim-witted dad's always the one in the Disney shows. He loves American folk songs, and he tries to fix all the problems that he can with future tech along with the rest of the family. But he doesn't fix the time machine, even though he can throughout the series, because family likes the present, so he decides that they should, stick around there. The mom's more down to earth, though. She's got her own issues as well. She's trying to get along with the modern traditions. She absolutely cannot cook because apparently nobody cooks in the future. Everything comes out of a can, like a little spray can. But it's your average slice of life sitcom, Disney Channel sitcom, with the future being the twist. There's a lot of Disney shows that have this similar slice of life, but with a twist. You got Zack and Cody, slice of life, but they live in a hotel. Hannah Montana's a slice of life, but she's famous. You got The Wizards of Waverly Place, which is, another slice of life, but magic and stuff exists. It's just like a lot of those shows, there's some pretty decent writing, for a kid's show. I had a lot of fun revisiting, watching it. I always had a lot of fun watching it as a kid growing up. That's why I'm here 17 years later talking about the show. But, they always have their issues that they try to fix that are a lot really, pretty relevant. That's why it's, with the slice of life style. But you can't always fix it with the easy solutions. You've got to figure out that you got to hit these solutions head on. You can't take no piece of fancy technology like your wizard and just fix everything and make it better. So we've seen several times that just does not work for Phil. So the main issue with the show, the fact it aired and on Disney Plus, it's both out of order. So if you're going to go through and watch the show, it's a bit of an issue. The 10th episode on Disney Plus is the episode that was supposed to be the pilot. It's the episode where they're first from the future, where they're getting ready to go to school and all that kind of stuff. And then, because in the first episode that you watch, he's already friends with Keeley, which you later see him become friends with Keeley, and there's a lot of characters that meet for the first time, but they've already been seen together, goofing around and being friends and all kinds of stuff. So it can throw people off. If you think about it in a way that Phil is telling a story from the future, reminiscing on the past, it kind of gives a way to bridge that gap. We got one of the most notable characters is Keeley Teslo, who is played by Ali Michalka, the actress that we will be following next in the series of Barely Relevant. But she's the only other character that appears in every single episode along with Phil. Every other character, for the most part, doesn't quite make the cut for every single episode. There's about 40-something in the 2 seasons that it got to play. Phil and Keeley hang out eventually their first day at school. She's part of the cool kids and won't talk to Phil because Phil's a new kid and he's really into algebra. So he hangs out with Evan Peters because Evan Peters is a weird kid. Yeah, because why not? My thought process, like I said, was that this is him telling the future stories because he can't go back to the past, probably reminiscing with Keeley because he promises her in the finale that he will wait for her even though he's going back to 100+ years in the future. It's kind of weird to, like, do that. He did wait for her to see what's going to happen. Keeley plays the present day person during the series that gets to learn about all the future tech and the culture that Phil has from the future with Unification Day and his wizard and the flying scooter and everything. And but we get this beautiful scene. Unfortunately, the best audio quality or visual quality I can find of her learning that he's from the future.
Phil, you're my best friend. Just promise me no more secrets. You and I are on a 100% honesty pact. Deal?
Deal. Wait, there's one more thing.
What is it? Don't worry.
The reason I have 4 toes is because where I'm from, everyone does. I grew up over 100 years from now. I'm from the future.
Like I said, there's a lot of will they, won't they type thing going on during the series, showing later on that Phil's always kind of jealous whenever she's kind of into someone. It's like, okay. And then in the finale, they get voted the cutest couple, even though they're not together, and they eventually become a couple, but it's the finale, and a lot of people feel like the finale kind of shafted a lot of people. It was kind of cheap. They try to get their first kiss, and eventually it's not going to happen. No luck. Phil finds out that he's going to the future. He's been told a bunch of times that he's going home, so he doesn't necessarily believe him, but yep, it's happening this time. He actually fixed it. So he tries to say goodbye to Keeley, probably forever. He manages to get back and say goodbye, get his first kiss on the live studio announcements, because that's a big thing. She was the announcer throughout the show on the live announcements, and he works on that with her. The series does leave off with them leaving the caveman that was played by J.P. Manow. Maybe pronouncing that wrong. He's a really good actor. He plays a couple of characters. Really quirky. He being the vice principal, and then he plays the caveman, being the prehistoric counterpart that's stowed away on the ship. And that's also an interesting, because he's like in the first episode, but then later we see that for like a later episode where they find out that he's stowed away. So like I said, the first like 15 episodes I think are out of order, kind of weird. They crash landed after their vacation in 2004.
Something on the time machine has flown, so they ended up right here in our time zone.
Danielle Panabaker's younger sister. You might know Danielle Panabaker for some other things. I love her in The Flash, but her younger sister, who was an actress for a short period of time, plays the sweet best friend of Phil's sister, Pym. Pym is constantly doing terrible things to Debbie and trying to upset her, but Debbie's also always so nice that she just doesn't see any malicious intent at all behind anything that Pym does. And that's, really funny. Pym's always just, blah, 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 you're the worst, and I just want to, take you down this terrible path. And she's like, well, why don't we just go down a better path? We don't got to go that way. And, Debbie just ends up turning everything that Pym does into something good for her, or, making the best of the situation, and Pym hates it constantly. Like I said earlier, Evan Peters is in the show, the Quicksilver actor. He's in this playing a quirky kid 17 years ago. He's the first friend that Phil gets to make. He only appears in 5 episodes, unfortunately. But he's, like I said, he's Phil's first friend because they're both into algebra. He does some weird, quirky things in the first few episodes whenever he actually gets to be in there. But it's fun to watch, and, he's doing so well today. It's crazy to see him in such an old Disney show getting a start. Phil of the Future, filled with wacky early 2000s edits and sound effects, but I had a blast from the past, like I said, with this family from the future. You gotta admit, that theme song is a bop.
the future, he's a 22nd century man. Phil the future, he's a 22nd century man.
But this is the first episode of Barely Relevant. I picked Ali Michalka, like I said, who played the best friend, to be the actress we follow onto the next film in the series when we see her in the DCOM Disney Channel original movie, Now You See It, from 2005. I'll catch you next week when we talk about that. Remember, some of it's just a boring geeky. Have a good one.